So, is it already over? Well, long term, probably not. Short term, maybe, maybe not. That's like how we can actually put it. We see that we hit some kind of resistance that we had from the last video, and in this video we're gonna talk about these, support and resistance lines. We're also gonna go, zoom a little bit in and talk about moving averages, and we're also gonna look at some indicators to, tell us, how this might actually or might not play out eventually. We're also gonna draw some very nice line on the small time frames up here, on 5 minutes time frames and 10 minutes time frames. See, next move is gonna be towards the upside and downside. So let's get into it. Guys, let's analyze the chart a little bit. As you saw here on the daily time frame, we hit the resistance here at 14.8. We have been following Dogecoin right now for 2-3 days, and the pump needs to come to some kind of top and pull back and consolidate at one or another level. And right now it did consolidate at least for a little while. So the question is this enough consolidation? You can see here this consolidation happening up here. The question is, will this move continue towards upside? Hit maybe this 0.16 line or not, and continue towards upside. You can see here we got some kind of double top up here being created on the 1 hourly time frame. And if you look at on 1 hourly time frame, this double top up here also comes with this divergence on this rubber band indicator on the downside, which tells us that that's a bearish move. Some kind of double top up here might actually pull us if we go below 0.11 down here again. The target should be something like this up here, towards downside, down back down to 0.95 or something like that, if we should break the support down here. And this support right now is around something like 0.11, 0.12, give or take. So if you go below those levels, I'm thinking again, there is good probability that we go all the way down to 95 or something like that. Now this is a short-term analysis, and it does not indicate anything what's going to happen in the long term. Now let's look at a little bit on the long term. What you're gonna see here on the daily time frame is that we are hugely overextended towards the upside. This rubber band indicator, as you can see up here, this goes way back to 2019, and the rubber band indicator is right now telling us that we are at some kind of very extended high levels on the upside, right? These levels do not come often, guys. These levels do not come often. Every time they do come, we pull back or we consolidate and continue towards upside. So how does consolidation look like? Well, consolidation looks like something up there, go down there, up there, something like that, and then continue towards upside. You need consolidation. I mean, it might also be something like this up here and then continue towards upside. How actually the consolidation is gonna play out, we do not know, but that's the nature of consolidation patterns. They consolidate, and what happens when we consolidate is that these indicators pull down. So even if you go sideways over here, this indicator will pull down this way, right? The indicator won't go sideways with the price. When the price goes sideways, the indicator pulls down. So that's what we're looking for. We will look for some kind of pull down, and during this consolidation pattern where we actually can continue pumping towards the upside. So that's all good and dandy, but what is the next move, the very next move? If you look here on the 4 hourly time frame, we don't actually have a higher high. We over here have actually a lower high up here, and if you look at the on the rubber band indicator, there is no divergence on the chart. Now there is a couple of bullish indications up here that this might actually not fall below the support down here and might actually bounce over here towards the upside, and that's that on the bottom side we have bullish divergence on the rubber band indicator. On the downside we have bullish divergence, so this might actually continue towards the upside. Up here there's a couple of patterns being created, and I'm going to show you up here. Let's go to the small time frames. I told you we're going to go into the small time frames. The first one I'm going to show you, let's remove the moving averages up here, is the expanding musical instrument that's happening on the up here. So this looks to me that this is expanding musical instrument towards downside. Now any price that goes towards downside is by definition bullish, and any price that goes towards the upside is by definition bearish, because when price is moving towards the upside, there is more probability always to fall towards the downside. Now these bullish patterns, these expanding musical instruments towards the downside, they tend to break out of these instruments towards the upside, and once they do that, they tend to hit some kind of levels up here at the top or over here, and then reverse if they are bearish, but if they're not bearish, they will break everything and continue towards the upside. So you can see right now that this short-term pattern, this 5-minute pattern, has actually a pretty good chance to bouncing off wherever it is right now. I'm gonna show you that we are on some kind of support right now. It has a pretty good chance to actually bounce over up here and continue towards the upside. Now, how much towards the upside we're gonna go? Are we gonna hit again, you know, 14 up here? Are we gonna go all the way up to the 16 at extreme overextensions and then bounce towards the downside? That depends to be seen. But right now, this is technically in some kind of consolidation with some kind of double top pattern up here on the top. Now, there is another another pattern up here being created, and it might just be a pennant over here. You might be asking yourself, man, why are you not using these wicks on the top? That's because this is TA Fans Club, and here we know where to draw the lines. So we're gonna use this wick up here, sorry, not that one wick, we're gonna use this wick up here, we're gonna use that down there, and on the bottom side we're gonna use something like it over here, and maybe something like this up here. So this looks to me like there is some kind of triangle being created up here on the chart, and this triangle needs to create a bounce either towards the downside or towards the upside. I don't think we are out of the triangle yet. This looks like a pennant up here, big move towards the upside, you know, some kind of consolidation pattern up here, maybe breakout towards up here, maybe another high up here towards the upside, and then we get a bigger pullback and consolidation on a bigger time frames. Now this move up here was pretty legit and pretty huge. This is 80% move towards the upside up here after it started exploding up here. This was 29 top. This like just in a 1 day or something like that. Not 1 day, this was yeah, this is this 80% move? Don't tell me this is 80% move, did I? Yeah, that's 80% move, but that's a 3-4 day move. Yeah, that was the 80% move. But on 5 minutes time, it does look a little bit, and this, although this might look like some kind of pennant, and pennants in an option up here are actually bullish continuation patterns. It just looks too big to be a pennant. But I'm still looking to break out of this triangle, either towards downside, towards the upside. Now, if you do break towards the downside, up here, I'm looking at the support over here, right where the previous lows were, and if you go below those, then I'm looking at 95 or something like that. And I think if Dogecoin can get back to 95 or something like that on the downside, there is good probability that it's gonna bounce off of that, maybe even before that, depends on how bullish it is. Bounce off of that and continue towards the upside, because we reset all of these indicators, and stuff like that, right? And as you can see right now, let me go a little bit up in a higher time frame up here. This support line, not this stop line, this support line up here needs to hold. Like, there is different ways of how you can draw this support line. Maybe something like this over here. You can see that this is right now being broken. Over here, if you put it over here, it's already broken a long time ago. But there is definitely probability that this can actually bounce off of this support line and then continue higher towards the upside. Now, the probability is not that high. I mean, there is probability, but it's not that high. But it can happen. What we need to know is that on the long term, this is extended towards the upside. If you look at the moving averages up here on the chart, we are extended from all of the moving averages. So what we need right now up here, I think, is some kind of consolidation, some kind of, let's chill down for a second, let's, consolidate the price, and then let's pump towards the upside. Because if this starts pumping towards the upside, it's just gonna break all of the indicators and everything else. I've seen that before. This can definitely continue pumping towards the upside. And the last 2 days, I said, like, when we made the first video and made these 3 levels of resistance, I said, probability up here is to consolidate up here and then pump. That did not happen. We just exploded towards the upside, and then we put these 2 lines on the top over here, and we said, like, it's very hard to get up there, but it can happen. And what we do? We came exactly to 14.8, give or take, up here at the top, and right now we are pulling back down to 0.11 over here and consolidating. I would like to go back below 0.11 and back to 94. I hope the consolidation can happen above 0.11. That depends to be seen, but we are not quite there yet. Anyways, guys, this does look indeed very, very bullish. Also over here on the 1 hourly time frame, the last thing I'm going to show you is that these moving averages, 10, 20 moving average on the 1 hourly time frame, if we are going to go create some kind of, sorry about it, baby, you know, that's life. If you're gonna, you know, go up here again to 14.8 or 16.6 or something like that towards upside, these two levels of resistance up here, very important level to break again towards upside. So, you know, we broke this towards upside. I would like the big fast move up here and then continue up over here. But if you see us, you know, getting rejected by what's that, 12.89 or something like that up here, if you see us getting rejected by the moving averages towards downside, we failed to, you know, to break them towards upside up here. More than likely is that we are gonna go below the support over here, and once we go below the support, then I'm thinking, you know, 95 is most likely. Like, if you do not go to 95, if you break the support and go only to 11 or something like that and bounce off of 11, that's a hugely bullish move towards the upside. That's a hugely bullish move towards the upside. So there's that, guys. The question, is it already over? I don't think, you know, long term it's over. The bull run, you know, is just starting. It is very nice, and right now other coins are gonna take over after Dogecoin. Dogecoin was, you know, one of the first one. When is this gonna be very, very bad? I don't think it's gonna be very, very bad until it does something very, very, very bad. And the very, very bad thing that has to happen is it has to go back below, you know, 0.80, something like that. So as long as it doesn't go back below all of these three resistance level down here, we are all good. Long-term projection is, you know, to the moon. Stuff like that. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for the next one. See you around. John Q Coin. You don't have a lot of time left to buy gems. Bye-bye.